Left-hand one, we can see there was your before one. As we said, the golf ball was too far back in your stance. We'd want that ball to be this side of the blue line, nearer to the target. So when we swing, we kind of move towards the ball. That's going to create more energy, hit the ball towards our target. But it stands to reason when you're someone hitting the ground behind the ball, the golf ball just moves in this direction in between your feet. You've got to keep moving it back and back and back and back to try and basically find where the golf ball is, okay? Because of that, your left-hand grip now resets in quite a weak position. Your thumb just looks quite long there anyway, and this part of the grip at the top here is visible by your left hand being to the side. We want to sit it there, so if I was holding the club here now, this part of the grip's underneath your hands there in what we call a more neutral, effectively a stronger, better grip for you to send the ball further and straighter, okay? So because of that left hand grip there now, and you were swinging the golf club, the ball would obviously want to curve that way. Your way of fixing that was hitting off the back foot. Now when you saw that, because you didn't really sort of move your lower half properly, your right foot now lifted up on the way back quite a lot, so there wasn't any hip movement at all, and there was your backswing. Okay, now you didn't really move off the ball very far, but your hips hadn't really moved. Your right foot just sort of lifted off the ground here, kind of this way. And like I say, more from sort of a health perspective, it's just crunching up that side of the body there now, okay?
Yeah.
What we've got to try and do now is go through the sequence of setup, which we're going to talk about now, okay? So feet together, handle forward. So your left hand kind of wants to sit there, and then you just turn it around here on the camera. There. So your thumb now is off to the side a bit more. There's a little crease that we talked about there, your thumb and forefinger now. That's going to point up towards your right shoulder once you get yourself set up correctly, okay? So you've got your club and the lead arm all nicely in line. Then your right hand goes on underneath, and then we set up here now, and I can see if I take that line away now. There's that little crease that you make there in your left hand up towards the right shoulder. And your hands now, as we said, are nearer that front leg. So that setup is compared to each other there. Yeah, big difference once you get yourself set up there to the golf ball, okay? Now in terms of the swing, your hips are moving a lot better, okay? There's a bit of space there, but you still moved off to the side here to the right, okay? And that's the biggest thing. If you move off the golf ball this way, it's very hard to get back the ball. So you've got to practice with the golf club now in between your legs there with the sticks, and practice that kind of gliding that right hip on the wall, so you get the sensation you're creating space. So if I change the line to, if we put the red line there now, you want to try and create some space there with your right hip, yeah? In fairness, as you go back there now, the right foot stays on the ground more, which can be a good thing, and we're turning and pivoting around there, okay? As we then come through, your follow through will sort of change over time as we adjust with this batch, okay? But in terms of the swing thought, when the ball is there, you're only thinking about the setup and then just hitting the ball. When you're not hitting ball, you practice with the two sticks either side of you, and you try and get your hips and sort of pelvis to rotate effectively between those two lines, and say creating space from this stick here now. So you stood there and you're sort of going this way, yeah? You're moving your body like this over and over and over and over again, yeah? Rather than sliding this way or lifting up with this right foot, yeah? And that's the key thing for you. More, again, from a health perspective, we want you to go and play golf and then finish a game of golf and not be like, oh, God, not looking forward to tomorrow or the next. And if you were going to play more golf, potentially when the summer comes around next year maybe, you might say, oh, go and play back-to-back over the weekend. And you think, oh, God, I'm in agony the next day. Yeah. You're not going to want to play more, are you? Okay, so long-term, it's more of a health benefit, say, but it's also going to help you in terms of hitting the golf ball, okay? So if we can get that pelvis working better and pivoting and rotating, we want to see golf balls going left. Once they start going left, then I would say next session moving forward, then we can, okay, right, then we'll start moving how the body works into impact to change both where the club hits the ground and the direction the ball goes. At the moment, you're still going to have a couple hitting the ground behind the golf ball, but now with the club face being straighter and your hands on the club better, when you swing it to the left, which you kind of had to, the ball now will just go straight left. Once that becomes kind of every single shot and you sort of think, oh, God, I can't stop the ball going right now, that's when your next lesson gets booked in, yeah? And then we'll work on fixing that thing more in terms of how the body moves. Okay, does that make sense here? So there's kind of a sequence. I think setup is something you can think about. The ball is obviously not moving, okay? You're static. You can take your time getting yourself set up. And again, just drilling this, okay? So feet together, you've got your line there, okay? You've got your better left hand position now. Yeah? Get that position there. Just get yourself in that position time and time again. Right hand underneath. So you see your right shoulder sort of making a little bit of a tilt there with your left one there. And then set up, okay? Boom, boom, boom. Just keep doing that, yeah? To the point that just becomes, eventually you'll get to a point where you can just stand there, grab a club, and you'll stand in that position correctly, because you'll know that your hands are covering your front foot. You can see the correct position of your left hand, and everything else is going to be around that in a much more efficient position, as opposed to where you were having to try and make some kind of adjustments from that, okay? This setup on the left-hand side now is going to cause the ball to curve to the right. If you try to fix a ball from curving to the right, you swing it off the back foot and it goes left, yeah? But that causes the ground behind the golf ball and other issues in terms of contact. Okay?
Okay.
Does that make sense overall, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's have a couple more then, we'll see how we get from there, and have a little bit of a gap, and we'll progress from there then, Richard, okay?